This video is for you if you are considering getting medical treatment while visiting China, or if you are already in China and really need to see a doctor, or if you are simply curious to know. Whether your main goal is to get medical care or to check China off your travel bucket list, after watching this video, you will be more prepared to embark on the journey. Expect to learn why choosing China, if it's really for you, how to choose a hospital, and the whole process of actually seeing a doctor. First of all, it's essential that we ask ourselves, why would I fly all the way to China to see a doctor? And here are the reasons why. First, obviously China's healthcare system is different from what you have in your own home country. So the price of medicines and surgeries for certain diseases might be more affordable, and you could potentially get massive cost savings in China. But you do need to do some research and have a rough idea how much it's going to cost you in your home country versus in China. Second, the whole process might be more efficient in China, especially if you come from a country where it takes forever to make an appointment or see a doctor. So even if the flight takes 1 day to China, you could still save tons of time. You don't get anxious from not knowing when you can actually see the doctor. Thirdly, technologies for certain diseases may be more advanced in China. The quality of care is also pretty high. Doctors in China are very experienced. On average, they see 50 to 100 patients per day. Plus, in China, you can also try traditional Chinese medicine, which can fill in the gaps in modern medicine. So, now that we know the strength of China's healthcare system, let's start asking the most fundamental question. So getting your illness cured while traveling sounds great, eh? But medical tourism is not like visiting your family doctor. You need to think it over before making the final decision. First, the price. So I would say you can come if your treatment plan in your home country costs a lot, and you've learned it's gonna be much cheaper in China. While the treatment costs may be lower, don't forget to factor in travel, accommodation, and potential follow-up visits. But if you were planning to visit China anyway, then it's just 1 or 2 extra days in hospital added to your itinerary, and it's definitely worth a try. You might want to check with your insurance company to see if they support Chinese hospitals, because insurance options may be limited. But if what you pay out of pocket without insurance is still less than in your home country, then you can consider coming. You should definitely think about the quality of care. If your treatment in your homeland isn't great, and you are looking for a better outcome, then why not consider coming to China, where you can potentially get cured with the state-of-the-art technologies. And if it takes months to see a doctor at home, and you really don't want to wait any longer, then you should come. And I haven't even touched upon the most obvious challenge, which is the language barrier. It's hard to navigate a different healthcare system, from registration to recovery. The websites of hospitals are mostly in Chinese. In the hospital, you might get lost. The specialists don't necessarily speak English well, let alone the other staff members. And the reports you get are most likely in Chinese only. So maybe you will say, it's fine, I'll sort things out, or maybe you'll find it daunting. You should also consider if a follow-up visit is generally needed for your condition. If yes, you might need to think about how long your visa is, or if you are willing to come to China again. Another question you should ask yourself is, what if you see a doctor and they say the earliest they can do the surgery is in 1 month? So maybe it's not for you if the surgery you need usually requires a reservation after the first consultation and diagnosis. Similarly, if you are planning on doing something that requires inpatient treatment, you should think about if you can overcome the barriers when you are bedridden. Some hospitals are super busy, and you need to wait for many days to be admitted to the hospital because they have limited beds. And there is one thing that most people neglect, and that is the recovery phase. you should be aware that if you decide to do a surgery in China, you will be far from home during recovery. So, if you are alone in China and you are to do a major surgery, it's something that you should definitely take into account. By now, you may or may not have decided whether you want to see a doctor in China. But now, I think it's time to explain how you can make an appointment with a doctor in China, so you can have a better idea of the system. So there are 3 ways you can make an appointment: WeChat, phone call, and email. The most common way for us Chinese, especially the younger generation, is to use WeChat. To be more specific, the hospitals generally have their own official accounts or mini programs on WeChat where you can make the appointment. So this is how you can make an appointment using WeChat. You gotta have a Chinese phone number first. After finding the mini program, you need to fill in the personal information, including your passport number. And this is when you'd be asked to provide a phone number to receive a verification code. So it's annoying if you don't have a Chinese phone number. After your profile is created, you can then choose outpatient reservation, select a department, and book a slot that works best for you. You could also make the appointment with a phone call, but it's an issue if you don't have a Chinese phone number. Some hospitals also claim you could make an appointment by sending them an email, but honestly, I've never heard of anyone doing that. Walk-ins without an appointment also work sometimes. It's just that you might have to wait longer to see the doctor, and you risk being told there's no slot available, which is why the rule of thumb is to arrive early in the morning or right after lunch break if it's a busy hospital. So you're gonna queue up in front of the registration window, tell the receptionist which department you would like to visit, and you pay the registration fee and get a ticket. Usually we only need to pay a tiny amount of money when making the appointments at these regular outpatient clinics, like between 6 and 20 yuan, which is roughly $1 to $3. Now that you know how to make an appointment, from WeChat to phone call, and to simply walk in, now it's time to think about a very important question. That is, how to choose a hospital, and how to choose from the clinics inside the hospital. But before we get into that, I just wanted to announce that I've started accompanying international patients like you during your hospital visit. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I realized how difficult it is to make an appointment without a Chinese phone number. That's why I can make the registration on your behalf, so that there's no hassle. Like you don't have to get a Chinese phone number, you don't have to set up WeChat, etc. So, if you've eventually decided to see a doctor in China for various reasons, but find it overwhelming and unsure you can do it entirely on your own, then why not send me a message and I will do my best to help you. The link is in the description below. I offer all-in-one services, from consultation before the trip to on-site interpretation at the hospital. I will first recommend several hospitals most suitable to you, based on your conditions and needs, so you can receive the best care as possible within your budget. On the day of your hospital visit, I will be there waiting for you in the hospital, giving your guidance so you don't get lost. With me, you can get around without having to ask total strangers. I will translate for you, the doctor and all other staff. I will make sure that the doctor understands what you say, like what is the pain like that you are suffering from, so you won't stress out worrying about not being understood. Anyway, I can do anything that you can think of in terms of seeing a doctor here in Shanghai. With my assistance, the language barrier would no longer be a thing, and you will get around easily, communicate with the doctor smoothly, and have a great experience. Let's get back to the question, how to choose a hospital. It might seem rather difficult to find the right one. Take Shanghai, for example. There are around 6,400 medical facilities here. So here's the trick. The easiest way to find the most reliable hospitals is to look for the Sanjia hospitals, which literally means tertiary grade A hospitals. So some context. The hospitals in China are classified into primary, secondary, and tertiary hospitals, with tertiary hospitals serving as medical hubs at a provincial or national level. In short, Sanjia hospitals are top-tier public hospitals in China. And the reason why I recommend Sanjia hospitals is that doctors who made it into Sanjia hospitals are excellent graduates from top-notch universities. Compared to private hospitals, the bar of hiring and reviewing a doctor or nurse is much higher in public hospitals. Plus, public hospitals are under more strict scrutiny than the private ones, which means the quality of care is high and consistent. And the Sanjia or tertiary grade A hospitals are the best among the public hospitals in terms of capability and technology, etc. Whereas with the private clinics, it's hard to tell whether they're actually reputable or just good at marketing. So yes, the private clinics might offer better services, but by choosing grade A tertiary hospitals, you're saving time and energy by not having to vet the clinics or surgeons, because you know they are reliable. In the descriptions below, I've included a link to a list of all the tertiary hospitals in Shanghai, aggregated by Shanghai Municipal Health Commission. With this link, all that remains is to choose the best one for you, based on your conditions, the location, their strength, your budget, etc. Now that we know how to choose a hospital, let's talk about how to choose a clinic within a Sanjia hospital. If you're looking for the most affordable option, then you may choose regular outpatient clinics, just like most of us locals do. But you should be aware that you don't always know which doctor will be your doctor. But of course, you will see proper, good doctors. Apart from the regular clinics, there are premium options like specialist clinics and special needs clinics, where you can consult a more experienced and renowned specialist in their area of expertise, which costs about hundreds of yuan. With 专家 or specialist clinics, you get to see doctors who are more senior and more experienced. But the specialists can still be quite busy, and there's still a chance that you won't get much time to speak with them. If you wish to talk to the doctor for a sufficient amount of time, that is, if you're worried you won't be able to get clarity on your medication plan, you can choose the 特需 or special needs clinics. You can think of them as sort of a premium or VIP clinics, where the specialists, who are also very experienced, are much more patient with the patients, and you can expect to have abundant time to discuss things over. After all, you've paid for the time of the specialists. Another option I want to share with you guys is the international medical centers operated by some of the best Sanjia hospitals. These international medical centers cater to international patients. Not every Sanjia hospital has this type of international departments. In Shanghai, there are only several ones, and I've put the list in the descriptions below. These international medical centers cost much more than the clinics I have mentioned above. The reservation fee ranges from 600 to 3,000 yuan, depending on the level of the doctor. But of course, with higher prices come better services. You get to enjoy resources reserved for international patients. Like for some busy departments, you can book a slot that is 1 week away, whereas with regular clinics, you have to book 1 month in advance. And you get a more private feeling, like having a room of your own when getting an IV drip. And most importantly, you get more time to speak with the specialist, like 15 to 30 minutes. So, something you can consider if this sounds attractive to you. Now that you know which type of hospitals and which type of clinic you should choose, it's finally time to get yourself familiar with the process so you can go see a doctor in China confidently. First thing first, you gotta make an appointment online. But of course, you can go straight into the hospital and do the registration in the outpatient lobby. So basically, You can choose a date, a time slot, and sometimes even a specific specialist. In this stage, if you've chosen my services, I can make the appointment online for you. So everything is planned and secured. When the day arrives, you need to show up on time at the hospital. It's important to bear in mind that even if you've made an appointment online, you still need to register at the lobby upon arrival, either at the counter or at a machine. Of course, I will help with the registration. And you don't want to forget to check in and take a queue ticket after finding your department, so that the doctor gets notified that you've arrived and can call your number through the system. So, you've got your number. Now you just need to wait and pay attention to the screen, where you can see the current number. When the system calls your number and name, you go to the room according to the room number that you got from the registration ticket. And now you can speak with the specialist, and they would prescribe the tests or medicines for you. This is when I can do the interpretation for you. After the consultation is over, it's time to pay your bill. You can either go downstairs to line up again, or find the same type of booth to pay the bill. After you've paid for everything, you need to go about and find the places to get the various examinations or tests done, like blood tests, CT, MRI, etc. This can take from several minutes to hours. Then you have to wait for the test results before getting back to the specialist's office. So the doctor has your test results. Now you can discuss your treatment regimen. Maybe they prescribe you some medicine and it's all cool. Maybe you need to book a slot for an outpatient or inpatient surgery. Then you need to pay again for the medicine. After the payment is done, you just need to find the pharmacy and pick up your medicine from a specific window. If you need to be hospitalized, you need to show up inside the inpatient building on the day according to the reservation. And you would need to pay a deposit of thousands of RMB. Then you go upstairs to your department, find the nurses, and check in. I'm not going to elaborate on this in this video, otherwise it's gonna be too long. And I think it's time to put an end to this video. I hope you found it interesting or helpful. If yes, don't forget to like and subscribe. And do reach out if you are interested in my services. Ciao!